What happens when a band refuses to die, no matter how many lineup changes, industry pressures, or creative risks come their way? You don't just get survival, you get evolution, and today we're diving into an album that feels like a statement of defiance, a declaration that this band isn't just still standing, they're stronger, sharper, and more dangerous than ever. This is Slave Machine, and might be the most complete version of Nervosa we've ever heard. Today I'm talking about Slave Machine, the sixth studio album by the Brazilian-founded metal band Nervosa. The album represents a new era for the group, featuring founder Prika Amaral taking over as lead vocalist and guitarist. The album is a high-energy fusion of thrash and death metal. There's more technicality, more aggressive riffs, as well as melodic vocal elements that were not present on previous albums. The band has been very resilient as they've gone through many lineup changes over the years, which hasn't affected their identity. The band continues to be an unstoppable force in modern heavy metal. This is my third time reviewing a Nervosa album on this channel. Their previous two albums were Jailbreak and Perpetual Chaos. Jailbreak was released in 2023, and the first album to feature founding member Prika Amaral on lead vocals. Perpetual Chaos, the band's fourth studio album, was released in 2021 and marked a new start for the group with a significantly revised lineup compared to previous albums. So in other words, the band changes members often, but somehow they never lose their core identity. This new album has a few tracks where they were starting to expand their sound. For example, there's Impending Doom. This is the opening track. It has an aggressive tone with a tribal drum sound, which also had a cinematic feel before launching into the band's signature thrash death style. There's also Slave Machine. The title track has a hook-heavy chorus and layered approach. Also has clean vocals alongside Prika Amaral's harsh snarls, showing a willingness to push beyond their traditional sonic boundaries. You also have Ghost Notes. This track stands out due to a soft bass interlude, an Eastern-sounding guitar solo, and lyrical themes exploring inner decay. It's one of the more atmospheric and experimental moments on the album. There's also You're Not a Hero. This is probably the most aggressive song in the album. It features foot-stomping death metal rhythms and sharp lyrics, criticizing modern influencer culture and false savior figures. Another standout is Beast of Burden. This is a straightforward thrasher where Prika delivers some of her best vocals with a deep, primal scream that feels completely unfiltered. One of my favorites is also Speak in Fire. This is the album's final track. It gives the listener a darker, more ominous conclusion to the record. Other notable mentions include Hate, which showcases the band's riff-writing mastery, and 30 Seconds, which also has a passionate and emotional vocal performance. I feel the album is a significant step forward. The band has reached a new level of confidence and cohesion with the current lineup. Probably the most notable difference is the evolution of the vocals. Prika Amaral has fully established herself as a frontwoman. She has a very controlled delivery. She has expanded her range by incorporating layered vocals and clean melodies, adding depth to the choruses without sacrificing aggression. As for the rest of the band, they deliver a massive amount of technicality and aggression. The album sounds polished, but at the same time, they're able to keep their raw aggression while being more technically tight than previous releases. The band does a very good job blending an old school sound with modern aggression, but despite the heaviness, there's also some genuinely catchy songwriting here. Unlike some extreme metal bands, Nervosa incorporates choruses and hook-driven structures that actually stick with you after the song ends. The album also shows a clear musical progression. There are groove metal elements and those Eastern-sounding guitar solos that push the band beyond standard thrash boundaries. You can tell they're actively challenging themselves instead of just repeating a formula. Finally, the album has also improved thematic depth. Lyrics are filled with sharp social commentary, songs about dismantling systems of power, as well as critiques of modern influencer culture and false heroes. I also need to mention Helena Kotina's technical guitar work, as she is the driving force behind the band's refined sound on the album. Having worked with Prika Amaral since 2021, her integration as a second guitarist has allowed the band to explore more complex arrangements and truly face-melting performances. She delivers the extremely killer main riff for the title track, Slave Machine, as well as its fast, powerful chorus riff. Her riffs across the album are brutal, razor-sharp, and menacing, yet controlled. Her solo work is a major standout, particularly the Eastern-flavored virtuoso solo on Ghost Notes. Her guitar work also stands out in tracks like The New Empire, Crawl for Your Pride, Learn or Repeat, and the album's finale, Speak and Fire. There's clearly been a significant improvement in her playing. She has refined her skills after touring with thrash legends like Alex Skolnick when Nervosa toured with Testament as special guest on the 2025 Thrash of the Titans UK European Tour. Working closely with Amaral, Kotina has helped Nervosa move into more technical and modern groove territory while maintaining their old school thrash roots. Their dual guitar attack often feels like it's bursting onto action with explosive energy. Now, while Slave Machine has received a lot of praise, it's not without its criticisms. One of the main points brought up is the lack of individual song identity. I feel that the album kind of blends together a little bit. There's not much variation between the songs. So that's one negative. There isn't one track that stands out as defining, unforgettable, but it's just kind of like a consistent album, if that makes sense. Another criticism is the adherence to genre confines. It's very much a thrash and death metal record. It doesn't really step into progressive or avant-garde territory. For some listeners, that's pretty much what they want. But for others, some people, maybe I'm kind of like one of those people as well. I like when they get a little experimental and they kind of move outside of the box, and this album is a little safe. But again, these are just minor issues. And there are also some other issues with some parts of songs feeling out of place, like blast beats that might not really fit with the song. They're not really disruptive, but most listeners won't really notice it unless you're like doing a review like me and you're really analyzing the structure. But another minor issue is track quantity. It's 12 songs and there's no filler songs. They just could have maybe trimmed it down a little bit. Just, I don't know, maybe less songs. But that, again, that's just a little minor quibble. And finally, there's lack of polishing in certain areas, particularly the vocals. The band chose not to perfectly align the vocal takes. So according to Prika Amaral, it was done to make the machine sound more human. It's an interesting artistic choice, but listeners who prefer ultra-polished, hyper-precise modern metal production might find the approach a bit rough around the edges. At the end of the day, Slave Machine feels like a band fully stepping into its power. Not just another Nervosa album, it's a statement that no matter how many times the lineup changes, no matter how much the industry shifts, the band is not going anywhere. And most importantly, they proved that resilience can be one of the most powerful forces in music. My final score will be 8 out of 10. If you want more Nervosa content, check out my previous reviews of Jailbreak and Perpetual Chaos. Should be appearing on your screen right now. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments what you think of Slave Machine. Is it Nervosa's best album yet, or do you prefer their early work? Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.